Welcome to Across the Oval, the podcast all about Ohio State sports and everything Buckeye Nation.
Presented by xBETS, you found your X Factor for the best year-round bets.
Don't forget, you can get a free 3-day trial to our picks by clicking the link in the description below.
I'm Jake Mattessich.
And I'm Cole Becker. Let's get into this.
Did the season meet expectations? Some people say it did. Some people say it didn't. Because of that loss to the team up north, some people think that it didn't really complete a full national championship season. Personally, I think it did. Yes, we both were there. That loss did suck. But after that may have been probably the best month to 2 months of our lives watching those games. Especially that Tennessee game in the shoe was awesome. So what do you think?
Me personally, I think the season was a success. It obviously sucks losing to Michigan 4 years in a row, especially all 4 years of our college experience here. I have a lot of friends that are Michigan fans, and they like to not let me forget about it. But, winning a natty our senior year is pretty much all we can ask for to send us out. So, obviously, the biggest question for the season is if they can go back-to-back, do exactly what they did last year, and do it again this year. Are the pieces in place for another strong season? Right now, their line is set at 10.5 regular season wins. Me, personally, I'm taking that over. I know Buckeye fans have said it so pretty much the past 4 years. There's no way we lose Michigan. No way we lose this game. It's not happening. But this year, call me crazy, but there is no way that they lose this game. Obviously, the Heat is week 1. OSU, Texas, I think will be the best regular season game this season. You have 2 brand new quarterbacks that have not started. 2 very strong defenses, probably the 2 best in college football right now, easily.
And also, not to mention, the Texas secondary is the best in the country, facing our wideouts, which are obviously the best in the country. The depth they have there is just unreal, even though everyone should be fully healthy, considering no preseason injuries.
None yet. We had a little bit. We did get Max Clare from Purdue. That's obviously a huge pickup. The only injury I've heard of so far is Kakmarek with his ACL.
Yeah.
Not sure how he's doing with that. They're kind of keeping that under the table, obviously for good reason. So teams are playing against it, but seems to be everybody's healthy so far.
Yeah, I mean, I think they definitely go over 10.5 wins. Well, to be honest, I think it depends how the week 1 game goes, because if you lose that one, then the 10.5 is definitely going to be hard to do. But I personally do think they beat Texas. I do think it will be a close game. And I think Texas is very happy it's a noon game and was going to be very scared if they had to come in here at night. Yeah, I do think they beat Texas. Yes, the defense is a little bit different, and everyone new in there is not as experienced as they had last year. But I feel like the offense can be better than last year, especially because the addition of Claire. He's a great route running and catching tight end. And then obviously Sayin. I don't think Sayin needs to be anything crazy for this offense to be good because of all the weapons around him. I do think Sayin is going to be a great quarterback at Ohio State, but I don't think he needs to be like anything special, like crazy Heisman level quarterback for this offense to succeed, especially with James Peoples and the guy from West Virginia, CJ Donaldson.
With the defense, they only have 4 returning starters right now. Caleb Downs, Sonny Styles, Igben, Caden McDonald. While the other guys starting now have played a lot last year, it's a huge difference from last year when you had pretty much the entirety of the defense was returning. They were seniors.
Also, not to mention a different defensive coordinator too.
Bring in Matt Patricia.
Yeah.
Say what you want about him. He has 2 Super Bowl wins and has an extensive NFL career. So clearly what he's doing is working. So I think
he's going to thrive in college.
Yeah.
Like,
especially with the talent that he has on defense.
Yeah.
Obviously it's not you have Caleb, Sonny, Caden, obviously league players, but I think just with his experience in the NFL, with such high-level talent at Ohio State, it's going to be pretty easy for him. We also haven't really seen much he hasn't said anything about how this defense is going to play. So that's another thing that we're all kind of waiting to see week one. We were at the spring practice. We kind of saw a little bit of mixed defense out there, but nobody really knows exactly what they're going to come out in yet.
Yeah, I think more of it might be said once summer training starts,
Right.
summer camp. But I feel like right now it's very unexpected what he's going to be doing with that defense scheme wise and everything. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see what they can do, especially like the young guys like Jalen McClain should be our starting safety. Next to Caleb Downs. I think Caleb Downs will obviously help him.
Right. Most
succeed.
people have Caleb as the number one player in the country, which is kind of funny because the two guys that people battle against, the number one player in the country, just so happen to both be on the same team.
Yeah.
And on either side of the ball. So that's pretty much all you can ask for as an Ohio State fan. Some other key names, Arvell Reese is going to be an absolute stud at linebacker. He played a lot last year. I will say in the beginning of the season, I will give Sonny credit. This was his first year playing linebacker, so switching to linebacker, the number one school in the country, is kind of a difficult thing to do. But he ended up being just amazing.
And he's going to get better too.
Right.
The more experience you have at the position, the better you're going to get.
And I think he wins Buckeye this year, without a doubt. I think there's kind of a stigma, not even a stigma. I think linebackers tend to win the Buckeye the majority of the time just because they're the leaders of the defense. So I think he definitely wins Buckeye.
And also, I don't really know who else would get it because it's not like the rest of these players have been here since their day one of college, unlike Sonny, and have that leadership role like Sonny does this year.
Right. We do have some decent depth on the defensive line, not as much as I would like. We have Caden Curry. I think he's going to be a stud. He played a little bit last year. His biggest game was against Indiana. He is an absolute monster on special teams, I'll tell you that. That dude is a special teams warrior. You also have C.J. Hicks, outside linebacker, drop-down defensive end. Caden McDonald returning. Kenyatta Jackson's another guy who played a lot last year. He had a huge game against Texas, so very excited about him. But that's about the only.
We did get that Bo Atkinson from North Carolina. I think he should.
I think he will probably start.
Yeah.
To begin with, and then it'll be a battle between him and Curry. But it'll also be a lot of rotating. Hopefully, Patricia will be rotating them.
Yeah, with Kenyatta on the other side.
Right. Edric Houston is another guy who also played a lot last year. So we do have only 4 returning starters, but a lot of these guys have a lot of playing time just because of how these defenses work. Going up against such high-level talent of offenses, you have to have packages, you have to rotate guys in, which is why they are starting now because of how much experience they got last year just being able to rotate in.
And I think this year's schedule is also very similar to last year's. We have a big game towards the beginning of the season. I know Oregon was week 6, so more towards the middle, but Oregon and Texas, both those games towards the beginning of the season, and then Penn State, I think that's going to be a great game.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that game's a night game because
be a night game.
We are getting screwed of our night games in the shoe. And then, obviously, Nico Iomalov, however you say his last name, he comes in on November 15th. He's going to be rattled once again, not knowing what play to call. I mean, in that playoff game, he just looked confused. Yeah, I mean, I think the schedule is pretty similar, and I do think they are able to accomplish 11 wins. Will some games be tight? Yes, of course.
Penn State game is always tight. No matter how bad they are, no matter how good we are, for whatever reason, they love to make it a close game. It's literally every single game is a fourth quarter game down to the last minute. Last year, IGB had that interception. I don't know how he did that
nuts.
in the end zone, but that kind of sealed the game. That was wild. Yeah, for whatever reason, they like to make Penn State a close game when it doesn't need to be whatsoever. And another thing about Penn State is how everybody Obviously, there's no polls out yet in rankings, but everybody likes to have Penn State in the 1 or 2 spot right now
Yeah.
for whatever reason. I'm not really sure. They kind of just lost their best players. And me personally, I don't see the hype behind Drew Aller.
I don't either.
Kind of just
I feel like he looks confused when he's out
he
there.
just does not look. I guess you can call him a college quarterback. He's not an NFL quarterback.
I mean, weren't they also like switching him in and out with one of their other guys?
Yeah, they don't really have. James Franklin will always be. He'll never win big games. I'm sorry if that hurts your feelings, but it's true.
I just don't think like he has it as a coach. And obviously, before this run, everyone was saying that about Ryan Day, like not being able to win big games. But I do think he's proven that now.
Yeah.
And yes, he did have a lot of opportunities before that, but there is things that triggered in to not winning those games. For example, the one year Marv, we were up against Georgia, I think it was, and Marv got that concussion in the end zone.
Yeah.
First of all, it wasn't a flag. He was out for the rest of the game. And then they didn't end up winning that game, which they probably would have if Marv stayed in. But yeah, I think Ryan Day's job is pretty safe now, considering
especially after they just signed him to a contract extension.
And this national championship, the contract extension, I think he's pretty safe here as Ohio State's football coach for the next years to come.
Right.
One thing I am a little worried about is offensive coordinator.
Right. Brian Hartline.
Last time we saw Brian Hartline as OC, or was he not calling plays? I think Day was calling plays still at that time, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we haven't seen him really. Well, we don't really know, but as we know, we haven't really seen him call plays yet.
Yeah, he's obviously going to be receiver aggressive, which why wouldn't you be with the talent that you have?
Yeah.
Obviously, with him playing receiver his entire life, including in the NFL, he's always going to favorite his receivers. But you also have to remember the offensive line that you have 3 returning starters on the offensive line. We also have that Rice transfer. The dude is an absolute maniac.
Yeah. It's huge.
Huge. Probably the biggest guy I've ever seen with my own 2 eyes. And just a crazy individual who I want playing left tackle.
Yeah.
I think the next biggest thing for this season, like we recapped earlier, is the Michigan game. Last season, 13-10 loss against Michigan. Absolutely horrible. We were there. I didn't even have words after the game. I went home and sat on my couch.
Yep.
Almost shed a few tears. It was just absolutely miserable. I
honestly thought it was over from there.
Yeah, so did I. I think everybody did, which is why everybody was calling for Day to be fired.
I think it was also just like the heat of the moment also.
Yeah, everybody's mad.
Like, to be honest, in that moment, I was not sure if we were going to make the college football playoffs because of that loss coming to a Michigan team that was not good.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure if we were going to make the playoffs, and then I just let it kind of sink in, and I was like, no, we should make the playoffs. And then obviously we know what happened from there.
Right.
The rest is history.
So the biggest fault in the Michigan game last season was Ryan Day just trying to be the tougher team rather than just being the better team, which they were. Obviously, talent across the board is not even comparable to Michigan's. They were just trying to run the ball for whatever reason, just trying to just pound it down their throat. When you have the best receiving core in college football, Jeremiah Smith had 5 receptions for 30 yards in that game.
Yeah.
He did have a touchdown, but still, the best receiver in college football has 30 yards against a rival. Probably not the best idea. And it was just like everybody was just mad about their game plan. But I think that game, that loss, as much as it pains me to say it, I think that was the turning factor to the season going into the playoffs. They had a 2-week break, then went in, had Tennessee at home for the first ever college football game in the shoe. It was freezing. Tennessee wanted to come out, no shirts on. Will Howard said on a podcast, came out with no shirts on, trying to look tough. Immediately ran to the other sideline, put their shirts right back on. He said they knew from then on that it was pretty much game over. It's fake tough guys. We all knew it. We all saw it. It was just embarrassing watching all the Tennessee fans leave after the first quarter when we went up 21-0. But it was hilarious. So
It was great because I remember we were in the stadium
yeah,
before the game, and we had a bunch of Tennessee fans trying to talk trash to us, and we're like, "What are you doing? You're in our stadium,
right.
Like, why do you think you come in here and run this?"
Yeah, calling it Neyland North, whatever that
Yeah,
means.
that's crazy.
That was just an embarrassment in total for Tennessee. Yeah, Nico did not perform well. Dylan Sampson, the running back, did not perform well.
Yeah,
Pretty much nobody across the board performed well.
I mean, their center on TikTok actually posted. I think it was on Twitter first, but then he explained it on TikTok that the hardest place that he ever played in his college career was the playoff game in the shoe.
Yeah.
And he said he couldn't even hear his left guard talk to him or say anything to him. So, I mean, that just goes to show how crazy it was. Obviously, we were there, but I remember watching the clips later on YouTube.
When you're up in the stands, it's
loud.
obviously loud, but you can't really do justice unless you're on the field. And I think one of the gymnasts or cheerleaders posted a video, and like it almost blew out the phone speakers. It was that loud.
It was loud.
Obviously, game after that, January 1st, New Year, we go to the Rose Bowl. And that was just, after winning that game, you obviously have high hopes after that Tennessee beatdown, but after going in to California and just absolutely just destroying Oregon, you pretty much know it's over from there.
I mean, that game, they just came out firing. I remember the first play of the game, we have the ball. First play, Will Howard to G. Scott.
Yep. Like a 30-yard catch.
Yeah, 30 yards. It was, I mean, they just came out firing from there. And I think that's what they were missing during the Michigan game.
Yeah, they were just trying to play too conservative because they know Michigan's always a close game.
They were trying to play cute. And that when you have talent, you just can't do that. You just gotta go. Just bring everything you got.
Yeah. Game after that, January 10th, Cotton Bowl. Dallas, Texas, kind of was a little worried about that being in Texas, obviously because they're playing Texas. But from what I saw, it was pretty much mixed, about half and half. That game was a nail biter.
Until this man showed up.
Until this guy right behind us showed up. Obviously, can't forget about Trayvion's touchdown before halftime.
Yeah, that
huge. Screen pass was the craziest play I think I've ever seen in my life. None next to this one right here. That was just unreal. Defense played lights out. Holding Texas to 14 points is crazy because a lot of people did say Texas had one of the best offenses of the season besides Ohio State. And then, obviously, we get to January 20th, Notre Dame, 34-23 win. Notre Dame came out swinging, scored on the first drive, but their quarterback was absolutely beat after that first drive. I think it was like a 9-minute drive.
He just kept on running. I'm looking at the stats right now. He had 17 carries for 40 yards. I mean, when you're carrying the ball as a quarterback 17 times, you're going to get hit hard, especially in the national championship.
Right. When
the other team wants it too, like as much as you do, probably even more, you're going to get hit pretty damn hard.
Yeah. That game was, I think, for me at least, I was not really scared after that first drive, especially after OSU came right back and scored on them as easily as they did. I'm pretty sure Judkins had that first touchdown.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I was scared just because of how I know the offense was playing previously leading up into the national championship past the Michigan game, so the 3 games before that in the college playoffs. And, I mean, they were amazing. Will Howard was just doing what he was doing best. I mean, he was at his best moments in the playoffs. He just turned up a whole nother notch, and the defense stepped up. Also, I want to talk about the defensive goal line stands because those were a huge part going back to the Penn State game.
Yeah,
those defensive line stands were huge. I mean, they probably saved us from the other team putting up 7 points a bunch of times last year, and stuffing that line was great. and it was huge for the team.
Yeah, I think during Penn State, if I'm not mistaken, they actually went more than 4 plays because I think there was a penalty that got them even closer inside the 5, which is like you literally cannot ask when you're backed up that far. Like even if you hold them to a field goal, that's still a huge win.
Yeah.
Whether if it's the defense's mistake that brought them all the way down there, or if it's your offense throwing an interception, you really can't ask for much more.
Yeah.
And obviously, you have the 4th down stop against Texas, which is actually when this happened behind us.
I mean, after that Michigan loss, everyone on the team just seemed to like turn up a notch, and it was great to see. And I wish they were able to do that before the Michigan game, but they just seemed like they were playing with a different passion after that, especially Jack.
Yeah, completely.
Jack had an amazing playoffs. Everyone had an amazing playoffs. All the starters played great.
I think my personal pick for the most underrated player this season, last season, was Cody Simon. That dude, I'm pretty sure, he led the team in tackles, 112 tackles, 7 sacks, 7 pass deflects. He did not have an interception, which he could have had one, I think, against Oregon, that he just completely went right through his hands. But that's besides the point. Cody was an absolute stud, which is why he wore number 0, blockout. And I think he just helped out the defense overall.
I feel like everyone on defense just played great. Like all the starters, they were one of the best defenses in the country.
I think they were. I think there's undeniable facts that they were the best defense in the country.
Yeah.
Ty Hamilton, JTT, also Lathan Ransom, another extremely underrated guy.
There was just studs everywhere.
Tyleek, just
everywhere you looked on that defense, just complete studs. I mean, I hope the young guys can step up this year because those are going to be hard shoes to fill, especially because all those guys on defense last year were very experienced.
Right.
So I'm hoping they can step in there, fill those shoes.
The biggest struggle that they'll have on defense is not having the leadership that they had last year. All these guys are kind of here. It's their first go around. Everybody left. It's not even like you have 4 leftover starters. It's not even like you have. That's literally a third of your defense came back. It's not like even 5 or 6 starters is still going to help you more just because you guys that are experts at that level and at that defense and have done a full season before. Now you only have 4 guys that are helping out the younger guys, which did have experience, but it's just a completely different game when they're expecting you to show up as a starter and not just being rotated in.
All right, now let's switch over to basketball. The basketball team last year finished with a 17-15 record. They ended 10th in the Big Ten. They had a very strong start to their season, beating number 19 Texas by 8 points. And then from there on, it just seemed to go down. I mean, they started losing games to teams that they shouldn't be losing to. They also were losing games at games they should have won, blowing leads left and right. Yeah, I just think there wasn't a good flow to the offense. At times, I thought the defense was good, but I feel like there wasn't enough flow to the offense, especially when Michi Johnson, when he left the team, whatever that reason was for. But yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, I love Diebler, and I love his enthusiasm, and I think he really does love his guys, and he's very fired up about these guys in basketball. But I'm just not sure he's cut for. This is really going to be the make or break season for him. The offense, it's almost just like they don't even have plays. They're just out. It's like they don't even know each other's names. They're just playing pickup at the rec. Like they just beat each other. It's kind of like one person gets the ball, and then it's just ISO from there. They have very poor ball movement, very poor rebounding. A lot of times, not very good effort either on offense. They do have very good effort on defense, but offense is just like they're lost. They just don't know what they're doing.
I just feel like our big guys last year were also like they just didn't know how to score the basketball, and that didn't help because all the pressure was put on Bruce Thornton to score the basketball. John Mobley to knock down his threes. And like now I feel like Diebler thought those guys would be good because they were former 5-star recruits that went to Duke and Kentucky. But they just didn't pan out to their star level, I guess you could say. Um, but I do like the transfers that he brought in with Brandon Noel because he is a solidified scorer. He scored at Wright State. He put up 19 points a game, 7 rebounds, shot 55% from the field, which is great because I think we need someone that's big who can do that. Not to mention he's 6'8" and 240 pounds. He seems pretty athletic, so he should be the starting power forward this coming season. And then I just kind of want to move on to the center situation with Christoph Tilly, who we also got as a transfer from Santa Clara. He is 7 foot, 240 pounds, put up 12 points a game, 55% from the field. What I like a lot is those 2 field goal percentages. If they could shoot both of them 55% from the field, I will gladly take that because they will make the team better all around.
Not to mention his handles. He reminds me of that. What's that center's name for Michigan?
Danny Wolf.
Danny Wolf.
Danny Wolf.
So Danny Wolf was, I believe, 7'1", and they kind of resemble each other just because of how fast they are and how well they dribble. Christoph Tilly, if you didn't know it, well, it's kind of hard to not know he's 7 foot, but he has handles like a point guard. Kind of plays like KD in a way. Just very tall, very slim, but he can pretty much control the court however he wants. The next guy, Matthew Grujicic from Berlin, Germany. He's a freshman now, but he was playing pro overseas. So he has already experience playing in front of a huge crowd and playing very good talent. He's 6'9", 6'10". So that's another biggest thing in Big Ten is how much height they have. If you don't have multiple guys that are 7 foot, you're not going to make it in the Big Ten. Because Oregon's another big team that has two 7-footers.
It seems like every team that was good in the Big Ten had like 2 giants.
And like offense or defense, you just can't make up size. Last year, our biggest struggle was size. We had one guy pretty much didn't do much.
Yeah, no one was rebounding last year. I feel like that was a big problem. No one was going for those rebounds.
Yeah.
No one was foul. Yes, I feel like we were
fouled out almost every single game.
Yeah.
We had 2 7-footers. He was the one that started, and he was the one that fouled out almost every game.
Yeah.
So he transferred. We obviously had a lot of guys to replace him. Next transfer, Gabe Cupps, Indiana, hometown kid. I remember hearing about him in high school and hearing about him in AAU because he used to play on LeBron's AAU team with Bronny in Ohio. He was an absolute stud. Very excited to have him. We'll get a lot of playing time. I do not think he'll start right now, but he will be.
Yeah, I think he's going to be good off the bench. His first year at Indiana as a freshman, he had 2.6 points a game, which is obviously not that good. Played 21 minutes a game, but last year he got injured and only played 4 games and had no points in those 4 games. So I am curious to see how he does play at a new school and a new offense because he was a very good rated prospect, but he just hasn't been able to pan out what he's supposed to be. But he does have a bright future, I believe, and I think he could make a big difference off the bench for this Ohio State team. Yeah, and I just want to go back to Matthew Grujicic. I do not think he's going to play that much this year just because he is coming over from overseas, and yes, he does have a lot of experience in Pro Bowl, but when you look at the stats, his stats are not really there that much. He shot over 40% from the field one time, one season, and it was last season, where he scored 8 points a game. But he did only play 13 minutes a game. So it could translate over to college basketball well, or he might have some struggles at first translating it over to college basketball. I feel like it really just depends on the player and how much basketball IQ and awareness they have of the game, because basketball overseas in Europe is completely different than basketball in the US, in my opinion, at least. So
Next
yeah,
transfer is Josh Ojinamuna he's originally from Nigeria, 6'10", 230 pounds, just specimen on the court. Transfer from Baylor. Um, I know he's hurt now. Not sure if he's going to play this
yes.
season at all.
I think if he doesn't play, he gets a red shirt. I think they were saying. So, but I was a little bit confused when that transfer came out, but 'cause I didn't understand it. I thought we could maybe use that somewhere else for the roster this year, especially because I think if Diebler doesn't put together a good season, that he could potentially be gone. So I don't know if he knows that or if he's being tricked into thinking that his job is safe, but I believe his job is on the line this year. So I'm not sure if he knows that, and I don't know. I'm not sure why this transfer was a top choice, but he is supposed to be good. 77% from the field. He did score 7 points a game and 6 rebounds a game. I don't think he's that much. I think he likes to attack the rim. I haven't really watched his highlights too much, but it seems as if he likes to attack the rim a lot and is probably good on defense. So yeah,
You obviously have your three main guys that control the court: John Mobley, Bruce Thorne, Devin Rowe. Devin, just a stud. Never really had too many slumps. There's a couple games maybe that he didn't perform like he should have, but just very solid guy. Bruce, obviously, most solid player. Actually, kind of surprised he came back this year. After
yeah,
that season, I think he just kind of wants to prove a point now. He obviously has proven his talent. He's going to go to the league. Um, so I think he just kind of wants to prove something for Ohio State basketball. And then Mobley, also an absolute stud. I think Mobley, just being a freshman mindset, I think he has a lot to learn.
I think he's gonna improve a lot.
Yeah, I think he will too. He just has a lot of questionable shots, a lot of questionable actions that just screams freshman and just new to the school, to the stadium.
Yeah.
A lot of bad shots, a lot of just throwing up threes, thinking that he's just going to be the man to save the day, when that's not really how that works. Obviously, there's a lot of times that he did save the day and hit buzzer beaters, but that shouldn't be happening almost every game, where he's just throwing up unnecessary shots.
Yeah, I also feel like that comes with experience. Like I think his decision making will be much better this year. I think his passing will be better because his passing was not very good last year. And when you're getting double teamed because you can pull up and shoot a jump shot from anywhere on the court, you need to learn and find where that open guy is and how to pass it, a bounce pass, a chest pass, you know.
Yeah.
So he will improve. He's obviously had a full year now here at Ohio State to work with the coaches, so I think he'll improve a lot. And obviously, we saw Colin White in the rotation last year, mainly for defense. He would come in late into games when we need defense, and I thought he was great when he would come late into games. He's not an offensive-minded player for this team, because there are other better options. But I think going to the games and seeing Colin on the bench, I think he brings a lot of energy to the team, and it always seems like he's there for like all the guys. It seems like when there's a timeout, he's like the first one on the court, like hyping the guys up and doing stuff like that, and just bringing the intensity on defense.
I think they are expecting a lot. I wouldn't say a lot, but I think they are expecting more from him this year.
Yes, I think they're definitely expecting more of like an offensive jump from him.
Because he does, like, he could shoot if he wants to shoot.
Yeah.
I think there was a lot of times last year where he should have pulled the trigger
Yes,
and shot more.
and he didn't.
And he just didn't because I think he was just scared because for whatever reason, I don't know if he was scared of getting pulled, scared of getting yelled at.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of times where he should have pulled the trigger on the ball and just didn't. But I think that just comes with building your confidence. And they actually have him listed now at 6'6". Me and Jake actually just saw him not too long ago at Chipotle.
Yeah.
I don't think he's 6'6", maybe 6'4", close,
yeah.
maybe 6'5".
We weren't close to. We weren't like right next up to him, but like he did not. He
definitely grew a lot because I think last year he was playing around 6'2", 6'3". So he definitely had a growth spurt. He's definitely going to be an addition. Just adding size to the court, and I think his confidence will build this offseason, especially with all the newer guys around him. So just wrapping up basketball, I'm excited for this season. I have high hopes with these new transfers. I think there's a lot more talent than there was last year. Hopefully there's a lot better communication. This is definitely a make or break year for Diebler. I love Diebler as a person. I love his energy. I think he's a great guy, but he does need to coach better. And I really have high hopes for him this year. I'm hoping that he creates a whole new offense because whatever happened last year just needs to go. He needs to use his height, use the strength that he has now. And I do think they have a much better chance this year making the tournament than last year. They just need to really worry about closing out games in the second half, late in the game, when they're up. They need to not be lazy, not make stupid mistakes, they need to not take stupid shots, they need to pass the ball better, which is all things that can be easily fixed through Diebler, through coaching. So I have high hopes for this season.
I do too. Hope they can play to their highest abilities and everyone stays healthy and with the team, because last year I feel like a few of the guys left the team for a little bit. And I think if they can stay together and play to their highest abilities and have a good running offense, I think they could be a shock in the Big Ten this year, and people will not see them coming. And I am excited for the season, but we'll see. We'll see where the guys take it. If they want it, they're going to go get it. If they don't, it's going to be the same shit as last year. So we'll see where that goes.
Thank you guys for tuning in to Across the Oval podcast. We're going to be recapping games every Sunday for football and every week during basketball season. We have a lot of guests lined up for you guys. Very excited. Can't say too much yet. A lot of current athletes, some former athletes, some coaches from across the sports here at Ohio State. Follow us on social media at Across the Oval on everything. We appreciate you guys tuning in.